Greetings. So, I'll ask you a question here. And I'm going to lay down the foundation first. I happen to enjoy, your self-sufficiency, gardening, do-it-yourself videos. Occasionally people talking about, tyrannical government shit. Some people preppers or whatever. But you ever notice the comment sections on these videos, no matter where they are, have some of the most batshit crazy crap going on in them? Like people that are like, yeah, when the end comes, we'll take the land and blah, blah, blah. It's like if it's a socialist, they'll talk about taking the shit from the rich. And if it's the, like your self-sufficient conservatives, they'll be talking about how, oh yeah, the cities will be drained and blah, blah. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, people. And most of it's just giant fucking air-wanking masturbation. And people are like, what do you mean air-wanking? Just like most of these people aren't real. Well, these people can grow a vegetable to save their lives. They wouldn't know what, food to forage out in the woods. They'll talk about like, oh, well, you need to be ready. I got my guns and all this, and I'll go out and hunt and get my food. I'm like, dude, you should really learn what plants to eat. Why? Because everybody has the plan of, I'm going to go get the animals. And guess what? The animals are going to run out really fucking quick. And then after that, there's going to be all the people dying out in the cities and whatnot. Never mind getting scurvy because you don't have enough vitamin C. Like, you talk about things tactically, like, okay, man, this is what you should be kind of trying to do, getting ready for, and learn the skills you need to learn. And occasionally you'll have a handful of people that be like, oh, yeah, totally. Learn how to can, learn how to preserve, learn how to... get some supplies beforehand if you really believe this stuff. Stuff you can use anyways. Like, hey, if you got extra canning lids, it's not a bad thing. And if you've got extra spices, salts, and dried goods, not a bad thing as long as you know how to store them. So it's just like, and the same thing with like, oh man, I better load up on toilet paper. That's how you know you've got a normie. That is a big one right there. Extra toilet paper. Why don't you get a bidet, stupid? Why don't you wash your butt instead of smearing shit all over it? This is something you will notice with a lot of these normies. They don't even have a clue how to fucking think. And then these people flood in, whether it's, alt-right jackasses or socialist jackasses trolling, or maybe even government agents, or it's like glowing ones that like, hey, I need to keep my job working for the government. I better stir up some shit to cause a false flag. And once that false flag happens, we get more money. But tactically, like, what are you guys talking about? Okay, so here's a wild thought. How about drive truck or do some sort of trade job, live super cheap, live in a van, live as cheap as possible, or live with multiple people, like pull full out Mexi style, like 24 people to a garage. I love that joke. But, cooking beans and rice, oatmeal, basic foods, things you can do really simple. Like, I've got it figured out to where I could probably earn enough points just filling up at the truck stops, because I get like 4 times the points because once you hit diamond status with the loves, that I can literally turn my points into a scale ticket, which is, $12.50, and then turn that back into cash back on my paycheck. So every time I do a scale ticket, I'm getting money back. And then I can turn that into my groceries. And if I reduce the phone plan down to one of those Mint Mobile plans or something like $15 a month, yeah, I think I could actually cover both my food and my cell phone bill just off what I get in fucking truck stop points. So then when I hear these people screaming and moaning, oh, you can't make it in America, oh, the New World Order, I know you're full of shit. I know you're full of shit because I'm doing it. And I've watched Lord knows how many immigrants and how many other people pull it off. And they're like, well, the cost of real estate and land. Yeah, real estate's gone up a little bit. And it'll go back down once the market cools off. But you see these places where the land taxes are literally like a few $100. There was one piece of land I saw for $30,000, and that was expensive for the time. You could have probably got that land a few years, like 10 years ago. You could have got it for $10,000. The land taxes on it were $134 per year. $134 plus an HOA fee of $100. How much do you think that is per month? And you can find places like this all over America. So you talk about getting off grid, doing your own solar thing, having a composting toilet, growing a lot of your own vegetables. It is perfectly fucking possible. The government doesn't give a shit. I'm going to tell you the truth. There are so many normies keeping things going. They're not really worried about you growing your own vegetables. And like maybe 5% of the population goes so-called off grid, which in truth, off grid these days isn't close to what it used to be 20 years ago. You go back 40 years, oh, Jesus Christ, you were really off grid back then. But the reality of it is that these days you've got solar, you've got internet from the sky, you've got basically everything. You could, if you have decent internet wherever you're at, and if you were connected close enough to, actual grid, You could be running an online business from home. You could be educating your children from home. And they're like, they won't let you do it. Remember, and this is the magic line. I need to do this video again because I think I did it ages ago. The magical they. There is no fucking they. There's only you. And you don't want to do anything. You don't want to change anything. You just want to use they as an excuse for why you don't do anything. And so you see these doomers flooding into the comment sections. And whether they're just trolling, glowing ones from the government, or just fucking angry socialists, you're all full of shit. As where there's probably 5% of the people like me and a handful of others that are actually talking about a real, like, hey, what did you do tactically this way? And what did you do this way? Actually having a real conversation. And that's the thing about it. It's not about most of these people going off grid and, doing their own thing. It's just about them having a tribe, a new church to go to, essentially. Like, they got rid of God and they've replaced it with survivalism. Ooh, the government, ooh. Because this gives them a group to get along with. But I tell you what, I just find it fucking funny. And this is a phenomenon I've noticed, since day one of this shit. But anyhow, this is OTR Ogre and Corey. Y'all have a great day, and yeah, don't let the fucking weirdos in the comment sections, weird you out. I mean, fuck, you should see some of the shit people will say. And they're like, do you guys really think most people take this shit seriously? Who knows, maybe a few of the whack jobs will be right. Oh, they're gonna remake the Telstar satellite and use it to crash it. It's gonna be giant, it's gonna be a fucking meteor. Yeah, could happen. Anyways, take it easy.